When it's done, that's why you have to appreciate it while it's there. And it could be a person. You think that you feel very strongly about them and you spend some time with them, but they were meant to prepare you for the next phase. They weren't meant to be in your life forever.
Roll me, Mac.
When was the last time you didn't get what you wanted and it turned out better that way? Well, I want to say the last time I didn't get what I wanted and it turned out, I dodged a bullet. It was certainly a young lady that I was feeling very strongly about. Yeah, I was feeling very strongly. I'm gonna touch on a few times where that's happened. This happened multiple times. One time it just doesn't do it enough justice. But of course, I'm a woman that's involved, and I am head over heels over this individual. And I had my life planned out. I had my mind made up. Everything. I was done. That was it. And then I got to see why it didn't, fall in my favor looking back, because I wouldn't have ever been valuable in the way that I know now, because I also didn't value myself back then. So I taught her how to treat me. But in that moment, I did not value myself, so I was willing to just be a pushover, puppy dog, whatever you want to call it, for this person. And they could give two shits whether I existed or not. And they treated me like that. And I accepted it. I accepted it every day. I just knew if I loved harder, she would learn to love me, and then all would be well. Because that's how it works. Such a great beta tale. But anyway, in that moment, I just knew that's what I wanted. I was almost certain that this was going to be it. There was nothing else for me. I got it all figured out. And then I was able to not get it. When I realized I wasn't getting what I wanted, I threw a tantrum on the inside and not on the outside. Thinking, not on the outside, not this time. But on the inside, I was throwing a tantrum. And I really had this thing planned out. And I had it figured out, but you're not able to control anyone else but yourself. But when I got to look back situation, and I got to see what was in store for me going forward. Oh man, the way that I learned to respect myself, the peace that I had versus what I was in, which is why I live by this creed of I'd rather have peace alone than chaos with. And I vowed from that moment forth there will be no more chaos. And when it comes to a relationship, I don't believe relationships are meant for chaos. Honestly, if you're not there to give peace and you're not there to give love, then what the fuck are you there for? Honestly, why are you in it? What would be the point? Like chaos to project our insecurities onto one another, like in that toxic of a form, the way that I believe we did. And I just don't believe that's what it's there for. So I dodged a bullet. I dodged a major bullet. And I'm grateful, very grateful. And one time, as a kid, I used to bug my mom. When we lived in Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Navy brat, there used to be this item for Nintendo called a Nintendo Power Glove. And when I tell you, I bugged the hell out of my mother to let me get that Power Glove. And this is the days where it's just, I was the only child. And I got whatever I pretty much asked for the most part. And when I didn't, of course, the tantrums followed. So, I mean, I've asked for a lot of things. I did not get that Power Glove. And this is me thinking ahead, right? This is long before Nintendo Wii had came out. I just knew that that Power Glove meant I could use it when I played Mike Tyson Punch-Out on Nintendo. So I thought it was like, when I punch, it was gonna punch, Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, Piston Honda. If you play Mike Tyson Punch-Out, you know what I'm talking about. Don Flamenco, the Great White Tiger, Macho Man, and of course, Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson. But it turns out that I would learn this 25 to 30 years later about this controller. It was not that feature. It literally was like a Power Ranger watch. There's buttons on the glove and you had to press it. What in the hell was the point, Nintendo? What was the point of having that big ass glove on only to press buttons that we could just use a controller for? And I speak on this story in lightheartedness, I didn't get what I wanted, and it worked out, in my favor, because I would have been disappointed if I brought that shit home and it wasn't like the Wii, like where if I punch, it punches, like the controller moves with me. I have to literally press each button while I got this glove on. Fucking Michael Jackson. I gotta press these buttons in order to do the things that I was thinking in my head. And another situation where I didn't get what I wanted, and I've spoken on this before, but the topic is brought it up again. I wanted to quit the Air Force 3 months in after being at my base. I was bored out of my mind. I was homesick. I wanted to be back under my mother, and I called my mom. I said, I want to do this anymore. My mother would not let me come home. She would not let me come home. This is before I knew about my father, all these things. And she would not let me come home. She wouldn't. I was like, I'm stuck. I'll never be around my family. That's what I felt like. I'm not going to see them. I was, I panicked. I did. And lo and behold, honestly, one of the best. Listen, two great things have happened for me. One, my mother telling the recruiter that she wanted me to have a high-profile job away from from the violence, the action and whatnot. The second is she would not let me come home. And this is the love that a mother has for a child. And don't get me wrong, of course, I've had my fair share of thoughts on a lot of things in regards to, parenting, what's happening with me and all that stuff. But for those two things, man, I'm eternally grateful for my mother for not letting me come the fuck back home, because I would have never grew up. And to this day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the willpower that my mother had to know that her son was dying to come home. I'm talking about dying to get the fuck out of the military, just go back and do whatever the fuck I wanted to do back home, whatever that would have been. I don't believe it would have been anything positive for me at that time, not where my mindset was. But for her to say, no, you're not coming home. You're not coming home. You're gonna stay with us. And I did. And I don't have this life that I have, honestly, without my choice. I was, the mindset that I decided to have, I'm gonna go through this. But I'm not able to go home. Where the hell go? But to have that moment where a mother is like, I'm not gonna let you fuck up your life and come back here. Total lifesaver. I'm not sure that, even if my mom ever sees this, I'm not sure she knew how impactful that was for me. And I did not get what I wanted. Man, did I want to come home. I missed my little brother being down the hall. I miss, hearing my dad come home from work, my mom coming home from work. My friends that, I know from high school, we used to hang out and shit. I was homesick. I wanted to have I wanted my nest to be familiar again. I wanted to create the nest. I wanted to have my nest back. My safety net for life. And I had to figure it out. And I'm grateful, man, because I met some of the most colorful, but some characters. Them, with the friends that and family members now that I've created with the people that I've met in the military that are a lifelong family, and they know who they are. We may not talk every day, we may not talk for years, but we are, in the event, sometimes when things come up, one of us is there for one another, But that's another time where I didn't get what I wanted, and it worked out better for me because I stayed with it, did my 4 years. I got to move to Miami and work at the reserve base for so many years. I was able to move around a little bit, North Carolina for a short stint, then back to Miami, then to Georgia, and obviously, back to Florida and Jacksonville now. But in those moments, man, I was afraid. I wanted that. I did. I wanted to give my life away. For more than one time. Like I said, I was searching for something I had the whole time. But I'm anxious avoidant attachment style. So act like you don't need anybody, but then you feel like you're abandoned. It's confusing as shit, yes. But that's what I knew myself to, I know now looking back, that's what I knew myself to be. And I was pushing away whatever and whoever tried to love me, be it a friend, be it a girl that showed interest, and more than just sex. And whoever showed like true interest, I was pushing her the fuck away. And anxious avoidant all day long is what I would call that. But in this particular time, I said I have a tendency to chase after what does not value me, right? And this is, I was ready to give it all up, come back home again, trying to find a way to come back home, so that I could be with this person, and that would have been it. And that was, that was back when I thought that, being married happily ever after was it. Fuck work. I'm gonna have the girl of my dreams, or so I thought, and more I spent time in the relationship, I got to see a lot of things that would not go for me in the long run, especially when it came to, goes back to being valued. And I was not valued. I was willing to just be whatever. I thought that to show love for a woman, you gotta show how much you're willing to suffer. And that couldn't be anything further from the truth. I do not recommend that for any man, to do that. To show their love for a woman by how much he's willing to suffer purposely for not being valued, is what I'm talking about. Now, there's other things where two people are going to be tested, but not like that. No, that was just no respect, no self-respect. Therefore, it wasn't treated with respect, and it was just somebody that you didn't want to see your family. That happened to one of your family members, somebody that you love to watch it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to witness, to see somebody you love just throw themselves out there without seeing it reciprocated from the other person. What's another thing I did not get that I wanted? I wanted at one point in time, I wanted to do music. I really did. I really thought that I was going to do, we were going to make it. Me and Chubb were a production team. I thought we had managers, try to do like contracts and all this other shit, and it didn't pan out. It just didn't. And, that was a love for me. After basketball, here comes music. Another, dream of doing that. Being this high, wanting to be like DJ Premier or Lil Jon at the time, JR, Polo the Don. Like, this is 07, 06 time frame, so we're mixing it up with people that's local in the city performing, and they were coming, on base to record with us in Chubb's room, and I just knew it. I knew that we were going to make it, right? But it didn't pan out that way. Be it my effort, Chubb's effort, our ignorance, whatever you want to call it, it didn't work out. But I also look at things in the industry and I hear horror stories about how corrupt the music business is, and it's like, I don't know if I really want that, I don't know if I really want that. I'm not sure that that's something that I want. I found out how much I did not love it enough to do it, to go that far. But at one point in time, I really did. I wanted to be a music producer, and the option is still there. I mean, you can make music until it takes on. But that back then, that was like that little kid. I'm gonna be a singer. I'm gonna be the rapper aspirations that so many young boys and girls have to make it in the industry, and that's just a lot of people that want to make it, and it doesn't go for everybody. Everybody's not going to be able to say that they're a rapper, music producer, but to really try, I just knew that I was going to move to Miami after getting out of the Air Force, and I was going to get discovered by DJ Khaled at a radio station, just like Ace Hood, and then I was going to be, one of the people that you call for music. And it's one thing being an idea, it's another thing of the commitment. And I wasn't committed. I wasn't committed enough to make that dream essentially happen. And me and Chubb had the gift and the talent to do it. The commitment just was not there. And I kept waiting around for a lot of things to happen, and it didn't. Time waits for no one. And there's a lessons learned in that. But looking back at it, I had some of the greatest moments with a lot of the people that I met when I lived in, Miami. And lifelong friends, like family members, were very close even to this day. And we're all spread about, across the country, not just in the States, but also, overseas. So let's say that happens, and then I get into a situation where I don't have any solid people around me. I have inauthentic people around me. So I can look at that. It just didn't happen for me because like I said, the lack of effort. I wasn't serious enough as I could have been about it. But nevertheless, I love the life that I would go to have. Me and my best friend, still rocking to this day from 04 to now, and wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But that's just a few things that didn't go my way that actually worked out for me. So the lesson that I learned, one life lesson that I learned is that no matter how much you want something to stay in your life, when it's time for it to be out of your life, the universe is going to remove it out of your life, no matter how much you fight for it to keep it in your life. It's just interesting how that goes. You can be in a tumultuous, toxic relationship and you're like, I can't leave her, I won't ever leave her. Something is going to happen to pull your ass up out of there because it's no more. The lesson has been taught. Whether you got it or not, it is time. It is time for you to leave this thing here so that you can move on to the next phase. There's a lot of things that I've done with my life and that I wanted, and things that I wanted to do, but things had to move. It was time to move on to the next phase. It was time to move up to the next level. And for a long time, you can get caught up in something. You get caught up in being comfortable in a lifestyle, but eventually that at times out. Time's out for you. The way you carried yourself in your 20s is not how you carry yourself in your 30s. And the way you carry yourself in your 30s is not going to be as effective when it comes time for 40s. And time waits for no one. But those lessons that come with it is when it's really time for something to leave your life, it's going to. When it's done, it's like you have to appreciate it while it's there. And it could be a person. You think that you feel very strongly about them and you spend some time with them, but they were meant to prepare you for the next phase. They weren't meant to be in your life forever. And accepting that is kind of tough. It is really tough to accept the fact that this person that I feel very strongly for right now is actually a stepping stone to the next phase, or that next person who is going to be in your life, something more than whatever this is, and the acceptance of that, obviously comes with challenge because you have no idea what's on the other side, so you want to hold on to this as long as you can. But when you try to hold on to something that's no longer for you, you can tell. It doesn't fit anymore. You guys don't. The chemistry isn't there. You don't gel. Everything seems forced, and it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't flow as naturally as it wants to. And it can be like that. It's like that feeling where you miss your high know I did this. This is what happened to me when I graduated. So I graduated, and obviously I couldn't wait to get out of high school. But as soon as I graduated, I was trying to go back to the tenant's aid office that I used to work in for fear of what was on the other side. And you just look out of place. Why are you coming up to the high school? You graduated. And, you know, it's fear. It's fear. And I believe even in these cases with people, we fear what's going to be on the other side. So we try to hang on to what's familiar to us. No matter how toxic it is. We want to hang on to what is familiar versus what's best for us. So if it means being with the same person that constantly does the same shit that gets on my fucking nerves, I know it. It's the devil I know, it's the devil I don't know. And there's so much more waiting for you on the other side of fear. And that's a lesson I think a lot of us are learning, have learned, or will learn throughout this life. When you move on the other side of fear, more doors open for you. And those doors don't always look familiar. And that's the scary part, because you've never seen it before. So taking a chance and looking at a window. There's a window of opportunity to do this particular thing. But you won't leave. You don't want to leave your local, you know, what's been home for you for however long. You don't want to move away from the nest. You want to stay there where there is no opportunity. But you can move out of state and find opportunity elsewhere with what you can do in your field, in your field of expertise. There is a person that's willing to love you as is, trauma and all, but you have this fear of abandonment, and it prevents you from trusting anyone outside yourself. So you don't take the lead. You live in fear and come up with excuses for not taking the lead, for not moving on, seeing what's on the other side of fear, on the other side of that door. What's on the other side? You're too afraid, so you live cautiously. You've done it. I've done it. And it's more about the mirror. It's about the mirror and being able to say, fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyway. But also making an effective choice though for your life. You want to be better at screening individuals. But all in all, when the time expires for something or someone in your life, God in the universe knows how to move it out of you. It may take years, it may take months, it may take days. But rest assured, when something is not for you anymore, be it a lifestyle, be it this woman, be it this man, this thing, you might have used to like to watch a certain type of, like you used to watch cartoons all the time, and eventually it times out. You used to play video games all the time, eventually it times out. Playing with your, action figures, eventually it times out. When you used to go fishing all the time, and you stop doing it. For some people, going to the gym, playing basketball, being able to play basketball. I mean, that window's out for me. Yeah, and it was hard to accept the fact that I could not play something that I used to love to do for a long time. The years go by very fast, and things. Life happens. Life happens when those windows of opportunities go away. But when the universe is ready to take something out of your life, when it's done teaching you, that's all it's going to. And there's really nothing you can do but accept it. untitled gripe that you have in day-to-day life? Well, I don't care to be in drive-thrus where people go up to the drive-thru and they act like they do not know what they want. Be it somebody you in the car with, or be it somebody that's in front of you. I say it jokingly because I really don't give a damn. It's much to do about nothing. But for that person who goes to McDonald's is a household fucking name, and you act like you don't know what the fuck you want for an extensive period of time. And same for people who go to Burger King and what else? Taco Bell. Like, to me, and this is my opinion, I believe those are the top 3 fast food joints outside of like your local and regional stuff, such as like an In-N-Out, Jack in the Box, or Hardee's, Rallies. You know what I mean? Like, depending on your area. But I believe Taco Bell, Burger King, and McDonald's is like, you know what the fuck is there. You know what the fuck you want. But for whatever reason, let me get I know y'all seen it. You probably done it. But the entitled gripe, that's obviously I say it jokingly, but the entitled gripe that I have in day-to-day life is when people pull up to the drive-thru that they go to quite often and then act like it's the first time going through said drive-thru. Outside of our genes that makes us human is flaws. Yes, even you have a flaw of some sort, but we all have flaws, and a lot of us have that thing, that herd mentality where you don't want to be left out, so you don't want to shine a light on the fact that you have flaws. And I'll be first to state that I have flaws. Many of them. And some you don't see as visible, but certainly they're there. But the beauty of it is I understand that other people are flawed. Some have the courage to stand in their flaws, and some are better at hiding it than others. I love the Brene Brown quote that shame can only hold up behind you, not in front of you. So if I talk about what it is that I feel shame for, it goes away. When you face the boogeyman goes away. And accept it. Because if you own your story, what does it matter what anybody else says about it? When you know that you weren't the best husband, when you weren't the best father, when you weren't the best mother, when you weren't the best wife, weren't the best worker, co-worker, best brother, best sister, own that shit, and you make, effort towards improving. But for someone to try to make you feel small or tear you down because of your flaws, who are they? How many rooms are in their glass house where they feel like they can say this about you? And who are we to care what other people think? In that regards, as if they're not more human than we are. That's the beauty of being human, is that we're so relatable. Yeah, we might have different official, unofficial caste systems where you have the rich, you have the wealthy, the rich, the middle class, the lower class. But I assure you that mental health brings us all in the same fucking room. Doesn't matter how much money you have. We still respond equal, we still respond similar when we've gone through these particular events in our life. And that's something that we have to just accept. That's something for us to accept, that we're human. We got flaws. We have demons. we attempt to hide our darkness for fear of being seen. And some people can handle your darkness, and some people don't want you to distort their illusion of it. And learning to love unconditionally is a challenge. Learning to love unconditionally is a challenge. And it comes with a lot of embracing a lot of people's darkness and not having expectations of them, and whatever they share is their story. And don't make it about you to remain indifferent. But we are very much alike as humans because of our flaws. What else makes us human is that we desire love in some way, shape, or form. Everything we do, I believe everything we do is about love. It might be love of self, it could be love for another, but everything we do for love. And some people do shit for validation. Why? For love. It feels like, well, what's perceived to be loved. We have people that perceive attention to be loved, so we'll do whatever to get attention. We've seen one story a couple years ago. An individual died trying to take a picture on the edge of the Grand Canyon. Just saying, this is what are you willing to do for love? For attention on social media, it's for a couple likes, loves, care, and all the other different emojis that the options that you have for recognizing one's post. And some are willing to write paragraphs just to get the like, the love. But I believe it's also love. You just want to be seen, heard, and loved. Thank you, J.E.T. again for that quote from your therapist. Seen, heard, and loved. We all just want to be seen, heard, and loved. So how can I do it? What ways can we come up with that? How are we going to find out how to be seen this time? I'm going to be seen because I got on the flashiest clothes. I want to be seen because I got my cleavage out. I want to be seen because I'm walking around with my shirt off trying to show all my muscles, and you know what I'm saying, I'm drawing attention to myself. Why? Because I want the love. I want to feel love in some way, shape, or form. And some of us, some way, shape, or form, and some of us are dying to be loved, and we're willing to do whatever and to receive it. And desperate times call for desperate measures. And some people are willing to go further than others for the validation, or the love, or the attention, whatever synonym you want to use. But I truly believe that it's about love. I really do believe that a lot of things that go on, especially when it comes to social media, is about love. It is about being seen. It's about validation. It is about feeling that you're enough. And I'm here to tell you that you who decided to watch or listen to this podcast, you are enough. You truly are. You really are enough. And I hope that you say this to yourself every morning in the mirror when you wake up. Say, I love you unconditionally, whatever your name is. Fill in the blank. And that you're enough. The brain doesn't know the difference. So it's a brain trick. You train your brain to understand that you are enough, and that you are to love yourself unconditionally. But you are. You truly are. But we just all want to be loved. The hardest of the hard, the most sensitive person, they want love. They would love to have love to be loved. But it's important to really just love yourself. I mean, if you get love from others, great. But you're not able to control that type of love. You can only control the love that you give to others and the love that you give to yourself. You only can control that. The fight starts inside. And once you validate yourself on the inside, you won't require any other validation. It took me years to understand that, to not seek external validation so much, so heavily the way that I did, and just to prove that I'm enough. So much depression, just trying to be validated by my peers, to be validated by my parents, validated had my family, I didn't feel like I was enough. But there wasn't nobody thinking about me. I was thinking that the world revolved around me. And you learn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not that important. And not in the sense that you're not valued, just that you're not important, that your problems are bigger than everybody else's. And that's another thing that makes us human, is the fact that we all have issues. We all have our issues, and we're all built to deal with our own issues, and not to project that onto somebody else to fix that. But for us to manage our own emotions so that we can handle our own issues on our own, and not look to, that unofficial parent to try to fix us. We're strong enough to do it. And sometimes it can take years, but with mental health being so readily available now, I believe it's easier for us to kind of to learn that sooner than 35 years of age, like it was for me. And we can teach this to our youth and everybody, or anybody that's around us. Once we understand what we're assessing about ourselves, we can help others maybe see that. And that again makes us human. The fact that we're so relatable, and that regardless of your money, regardless of your race, color, creed, whatever it is, we can learn how to self-soothe. We can learn self-love. We can learn how to have empathy. We can learn how to have compassion. We can learn how to express kindness, but set boundaries with people, and without being rude. It is not rude to set boundaries for yourself. If it's rude to somebody, you setting boundaries for yourself, you have found your manipulator right there, in my opinion. So learning to set healthy boundaries with people, remembering boundaries are your way of loving yourself and them at the same time. It creates a doorway for people to enter, not so much a force-filled wall where they won't be able to get in, but it teaches them how to enter your realm of peace. This is what my realm of peace requires from your behavior. And if you are not able to exert said behavior, then I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to remove myself from it. And some people learn the hard way. Some people can take a hint, and then others got to touch the goddamn stove. And sometimes you get burnt. It's hot, So how are we all relatable? What things makes us all, what common thing that we have outside of genes when it comes to being human is our flaws. Our flaws in love. Flaws in love. Mistakes and the desire to want love, desire to be loved, desire to give love. We all have that. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. I believe that's what makes us human, is the ability to love, want to be loved, desire love, and of course our flaws. So that's my stance on that. But another episode in the book, another episode completed. Thank you so much for sticking with me this long on this episode, sticking with me this long, watching all these episodes from episode 1 all the way to the present day. But Romy Mac, thank you guys for watching Ask Rome YouTube series. Be sure to check out J.E.T.Sense podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Podcasters app, and YouTube, of course. But from J.E.T.Sense and Ask Rome, I'm out. Good night, kids.